The mountain breathes, and its breath is life.
Every knot,
For the mountain
every
breath clan,
pull is a
this is
mark
the
of
first and
ingenuity
greatest truth.
collapse.
They are a clan of Australopithecus, small, shaggy-haired hominids walking the uncertain line between ape and man, and they live in a paradise gifted to them by a sleeping god. Here, on the temperate slopes of the Great Peak, the ground is always warm. There is no need for the tyranny of a captured fire, a thing that must be fed and guarded. A young female named Tyre places a fish, wrapped tightly in broad leaves, over one of the countless geothermal vents that hiss and sigh across their settlement. The hot, sulfur-scented steam cooks it in minutes. Children chase each other over the warm soil, their bare feet safe from the frost that grips the valley below. This is a world of ease, an anomaly of comfort in a brutal epoch. The constant warmth supports a lush growth of fruit-bearing trees and edible tubers. The steam vents, their locations mapped in the clan's collective memory, serve as kitchens, hearths, and communal gathering spots. The clan's life is woven around these steady, predictable exhalations. They are the rhythm of their days, the source of their unique prosperity. Their leader, a grizzled old male named Koro, has a deep scar across his brow, a relic from a territorial dispute in their forgotten past, but his face is usually placid. There are few disputes here. The mountain is generous to all. But today, the god shudders in its sleep. It is not a violent quake, merely a brief, deep tremor that runs through the ground, making the steam vents stutter for a heartbeat. The children stop their game, their wide eyes looking to the adults. Koro grunts, a sound of reassurance. Then the clan relaxes. The mountain has done this before, small sighs in its slumber. But Duna, the oldest female, does not relax. Her eyesight is failing, but her other senses are sharp. She sniffs the air. The breath is different. The familiar sulfur smell has a new edge, a sour, acrid bite that stings the back of her throat. Later, the children playing near the lower vent begin to cough. The steam that rises is no longer clean and white, but tinged with a sickly yellow. It carries the stench of rotten eggs, a smell that makes the clan draw back, their faces wrinkled in disgust. Koro approaches the vent cautiously, peering into the hissing fissure as if it were the mouth of a sick animal. He has no explanation. He makes a gesture of confusion to the others. Their god is unwell. That evening, as the last light of the sun paints the underside of the clouds, a second tremor rolls through the slope, stronger this time. It is accompanied by a deep, groaning sound from within the earth, a sound that is not a breath but a growl of pain. A shower of small stones rattles down from the high cliffs near the summit. The clan huddles together, their simple comfort shattered. They look up at the peak of the mountain, their home, their provider, their god. They see it not as a protector but as a silent, brooding threat. The warmth beneath their feet no longer feels like a gift. It feels like the hot belly of a beast that is slowly beginning to wake. The dawn does not come. In its place, a bruised, twilight gloom smothers the world, a sky choked with a thickening haze. The ground no longer shudders, it rips apart. A fissure, black and steaming, splits their settlement in two, swallowing a tubergroven the vent where Tyre cooked the fish a lifetime ago. The sound is a deafening, grinding roar that comes from the bowels of the earth. From the summit of the mountain, a colossal plume of black smoke punches into the sky, blotting out the sun and turning day into a terrifying night. The god is not waking. It is screaming. Koro lets out a sharp, guttural bark, a sound of pure, undiluted panic. It is not a command, but an instinct. Flee. The clan breaks, a scattering of terrified bodies running on for limbs. Then for again, their peaceful, ordered life dissolving into a chaotic scramble for survival. There is no plan, no destination, only a desperate, downward flight away from the roaring peak. It is not dust or rain. It is a fine, grey ash that coats their fur, clogs their nostrils, and turns the lush green world into a monochrome photograph of a dead planet. Their flight path intersects with another exodus. From a stand of giant cycads, a herd of Ankylosaurus where Ankylosaurus bursts forth, their low-slung armored bodies like a river of moving boulders. They are blind with terror, their great club tails swinging wildly, their small eyes wide with panic. They are not a threat, but a force of nature, a stampede that will crush anything in its path. The clan scatters to avoid them, Tyre pulling a young child into the hollow of a log just as a panicked behemoth thunders past, its passage shaking the very roots of the earth. In the chaos, Una, the old female, stumbles and falls, her cry a thin wisp of sound lost in the cacophony. The others run past her, their minds consumed by their own survival. But Koro, his face a mask of ash and terror, looks back. He sees her struggling to rise, a small doomed figure in the path of the stampede. A hard choice presents itself in a fraction of a second, his life or hers. The clans, he roars, a sound of defiance against his own fear, and runs back, hauling her to her feet with a surge of adrenaline, and shoves her behind the relative safety of a granite outcrop. This single act of altruism is a tiny spark of order in a world descending into pure chaos. They regroup on the other side of the stampede, a smaller, ash-caked remnant of the clan they once were. They are bruised, terrified, but alive. Koro looks back up the slope. A new horror is descending. A vast, boiling cloud of grey and black, glowing from within with a malevolent orange light. It rolling down the mountain's flank. It moves with an unnatural speed, a silent, roaring avalanche that devours the forest, incinerating its touches. They do not have a name for this incandescent, all-consuming breath, this river of fire in the sky. It is the mountain's final absolute word, a pyroclastic flow, and it is coming for them. There is no outrunning the roaring cloud. The heat comes first, a wave of incinerating air that blisters the leaves on the trees and cooks the breath in their lungs. Koro sees the river, a silver ribbon at the bottom of the valley, and knows it is their only chance. He screams a single, desperate command, pointing with his entire body, and the remnants of the clan understand. They half run, half tumble down the final, steep slope, a desperate avalanche of hominids, their feet slipping on the ash-slick ground. They hit the water not with a splash but with a hiss, the cool shock, a momentary reprieve from the hell that is consuming the world behind them. They submerge, clinging to the rocky bottom as the sky explodes. The pyroclastic flow hits the tree line at the river's edge, and the forest simply vanishes in a flash of white-hot annihilation. The sound is a physical blow, a concussive force that travels through the water and rattles their bones. The river itself seems to boil, the surface erupting in a cloud of steam. They hold their breath until their lungs feel like they are collapsing, their minds a screaming vortex of terror. When they finally surface, gasping for air, it is into a world that is no longer theirs. The mountain is gone, its peak replaced by a gaping, fiery wound in the sky. The forest is a field of blackened, skeletal trees. The ground is a uniform grey, a thick blanket of ash that has buried their paradise. The air is a toxic soup of sulfur and fine grit that sears their throats with every breath. They are survivors, but they have survived into a dead world. They are refugees, stranded on the wrong side of a river, with no shelter, and no knowledge of this new, hostile landscape. The days that follow are a slow, grinding lesson in forgotten hardships. Their soft, easy life on the mountain has left them unprepared. Their hands, accustomed to picking fruit, are clumsy and soft. They do not have the advanced lithic technology of later hominids. They must relearn the most basic survival skills, how to crack nuts with a stone, how to find edible insects under the bark of the dead trees. The paradise that defined them is gone, and with it, their identity. They huddle together at night for warmth, shivering under a sky that is always grey, starting at every strange sound. The silence of this new world is as terrifying as the roar of the eruption. One evening, a new sound comes, a series of high-pitched, intelligent chirps and kicks and clicks from the skeletal forest. Kale spots them first, small bipedal shapes with large, luminous eyes, moving with a twitchy, unsettling quickness through the ash. They are pterodontid, nocturnal predators known for their cunning, scavengers drawn to the scent of death and displacement. In their old home, the warmth and security of the mountain kept such creatures at bay. Here, in the cold and the dark, the clan is just another source of meat. Koro picks up a heavy rock, its familiar weight a small comfort in this alien world. The mountain's breath is gone. Now, They must learn to breathe on their own, or not at all. The eruption was an ending, but it was also a beginning. The mountain breath clan, stripped of their geothermal paradise, were forced into a crucible of hardship that would either destroy them or forge them into something new. The easy life had made them placid, stagnant. This new grey world demanded ingenuity, resilience, and a ferocity they never knew they possessed. The loss of their god, the mountain, forced them to find the divine, not in the earth beneath their feet, but within the bonds of their own small, struggling community. This brutal expulsion from their Eden was a critical, agonizing step in the long march of human evolution. It taught them the most important lesson of all, that the greatest tool for survival is not a warm vent or a ready supply of fruit, but the thinking mind's ability to adapt to a world that is, and always will be, mercilessly indifferent to our existence. Their paradise was lost, but in the ash and the silence, humanity was found. Look at any mountain, and feel the fire sleeping within. But not all threats come from the earth, and a new story is taking shape in the river deltas, where the greatest predator is not a beast of the land, but a monster that rules the water.